Okay, so you said that your African, Asians, Europeans, and white American business have business in Africa, and we Africans have also business in their countries. The only Black American I see doing business is Khalees. That's what you said. That was the finish. Okay, and I know I already answered you, but this is a great topic, so um, I'm gonna make a video. Okay. All right. So Black Americans have businesses in different countries. Okay. Um, but you can't really compare the fact that white people have businesses there, Europeans have businesses in Africa, Asians, and so forth and so on, in the same way you would think Black America. Okay, you just can't do it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because okay, so number one, Khalees is a celebrity. Okay, and so let's knock out all the celebrity stuff because it's easy to follow celebrities. But Black Americans have businesses in Africa, or they have helped fund businesses and things in Africa. However, when we go back and we actually comparing the two is not going to be good, and a lot of people go with this comparison thing, but it's not good because number one, let's go for Asia for instance. Okay, so a lot of the businesses that let's say China for instance, and I wrote this on a comment to you. China, a lot of the businesses, larger scale businesses that they have are government backed. Okay, so many of the larger scale businesses are government backed. They have smaller scale businesses, but many of the larger ones are government backed. Okay, and so that's not so for Black America. Number two, let's say Indians have done business and have a huge diaspora in many countries in Africa. So it's a lot easier for them to move on in and do business because they have a diaspora there. Okay, and they've had a diaspora there, and doing business with in Africa for a century. So they have communities there. Okay, and it's always been that way. Okay, all right, and this is for centuries. So you can't really compare Black America to that. Okay, of course with Europe has been in business with Africa, good and bad business with Africa forever. Okay, since before the transatlantic slave trade. So you can't really compare Black America to that either. What happened with Black America is that Black America got put off the African continent and was barred from returning. Point of no return. Okay, so at that point, and then our forefathers were enslaved. Okay, for a long time, and then we had to develop ourselves over in our country. Okay, so when you're comparing the ease or whatever for Europeans doing all of this, you can't really you can't really compare the two. Okay, you can't. And as far as Black America today having businesses in other countries, you want to look at the ease of it all. Okay, because number one, okay, Black Americans, of course, we have businesses in America. This is our country, America. So, and a lot of the revenue, the big revenue, is here. So a lot of people come to the United States of America to launch their businesses. Black America does not have to do that because this is our country. We don't have to move into the United States of America. We're here. Okay, but there are a lot of Black Americans who have launched outside of America and have done well. um, One of the issues with launching in Africa has been the ease of it. It's not easy. The ease of it, um, no, there's a lot of hoops and struggles to get something happening on the continent of Africa, and also the revenue. Okay, so let's say I could make more money here, 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 versus it depends on what type of business, right? So versus on the continent of Africa. So if I launch here in Europe, or if I launch here over here in China, if I launch here, I'm pretty much probably it's gonna be a lot easier a lot of times sometimes, and I'm gonna have the revenue that I want. Depending on the business. This is depending on the business, okay? So yeah, to compare peoples who have not been railroaded, okay, who have not been enslaved, who have not had barriers put up. Yeah, they it's easier for them to, because they have a diaspora there, they have everything there. We were cut off. Everybody's forefathers, we were cut off, and so we had to develop over where we were. And it's not just Black Americans, it's all of the Americas. We had to develop ourselves over here first. Okay. Meanwhile, you can say white Americans have business over here, Europeans have businesses over here. Well, they've always had business over there. One of the businesses was trafficking us. So you can't really compare you cannot compare the two. Number one, and we're an ethnic group as well. So then you're going to look at that again. And I've said this before, people look at Black America as if we are a continent, or if we are something. No, no, we're an ethnic group. We're an ethnic group of people. So when you compare Black America to Asia and Asians, why are you comparing Black America to 50 to 100 other ethnic groups and making them one, as if no, Black America is an ethnic group that had a whole different batch of circumstances. We're not India, China. Don't compare us like that, because it's not you can't do it. Or Europe. Europe is a bunch of different countries and a bunch of different ethnic groups. Again, Black America is not a continent. Okay? Compare Black America to another ethnic group if you're going to compare things. Okay? That's what you're going to have to do. You know? Even if you say, well, Americans, well, what Americans? You're talking about Black America. Again, you're narrow it down to the ethnic group. Okay? And so you say white Americans, they have business. Of course they're going to have business. They have businesses everywhere. Did we not know what happened 400 and 500 years ago? You know what I'm saying? So you can't compare the two. You just can't. And as far as African people going outside, it's the same thing. Okay, if African people leave Africa and then launch outside of Africa, right? They're doing that for a reason. And of course, on Africa there's businesses because that's the home, that's your home. But many come outside of Africa and launch because why? Because they want to make the revenue, and it's easier, and it's effective. But Black America home is here, and Black Americans have plenty businesses here. Plenty.